So very good morning, participants. It is our great pleasure to welcome you all to the Knowledge 4.0 webinar series. Under Knowledge 4.0 webinar series, we have been taking initiative on conducting webinars in different scenarios such as technical webinar series, research webinar series, career guidance webinar series, innovative talk webinar series, and alumni webinar series. Apart from this webinar series, we are also conducting national international conferences, national international seminars, faculty development programs, and lecture series. Chennai Institute of Technology has been conducting this Knowledge 4.0 webinar series to enhance the knowledge of faculty members, researchers, and students community during this lockdown period as a social responsibility. This research series, this webinar series 4.0 is being successful under the guidance and motivation of our Honorable Chairman, Sri P. Sriram, who is one of the well-known first-generation successful entrepreneur, Managing Director of MK Group of Companies. Today we have Kandidas Ravichandran sir with us, who is one of the excellent resource person in Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing. Sir is from Auto Group Limited. So it is our great pleasure to welcome Kandidas Ravichandran sir to this wonderful forum. I will welcome you, sir.
Nothing.
And Chennai Institute of Technology was established in the year 2010 by our Honorable Chairman P. Sriram, and today our institute is being within top 10 among all other private engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu. Chennai Institute of Technology follows a unique teaching learning process by which more than 15 centers of excellence have been laid out in our campus, and so this center of excellence are being useful in developing the knowledge of our students, and it is helping us to place our students in core companies and help them to go for higher studies in reputed in Indian and international universities. So it is our great pleasure to welcome you all the participants and our today expert, Mr. Kandidas Ravichandran sir. And now I request him to take over this session. Please, sir, you can. And sir, I want to brief something about sir's experience, because if I say, it will be more interesting and it will be very useful to the participant to know his expertise. And sir has started his career in Andrew Yule Company Limited as an engineer trainee, and he was there for about around six and a half years, and he was leaving as engineer planning from Andrew Yule Limited, and he was working as Metra Shoe Fabric Limited from the year 1991 to December 1992 for about 1 year. Then he has worked on Srinivas Foundation from in the construction and real estate field. Then again, SAR started Andrew Yule Company Limited, and thus there he was the manager finance and systems, and total experience in Andrew Yule and Limited was about 15 years, 8 months. Then he was starting his career in Electromag Automotive Private Limited, where he was as the head purchase and stores. Then he moved to Surya Power Limited. There he was the manager projects, and at present, SAR is the general manager in Auto Group division of NC's Technologies. So he was in NC Technologies. Now he is general manager in Auto Group Vending System Private Limited, and still he is around 1 year, 11 months in this field, and he is highly working on Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing system. So it is our great pleasure to have his expertise in this wonderful webinar, and it is very great pleasure to have him in this wonderful forum for his wonderful speech. Thank you, sir. You can go ahead with the session, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen. I am Kandidas Ravichandran. I am very pleased to meet you digitally. Let me first of all share my screen first. So, I'm very glad to say that.
Yes, you can go ahead, sir. This is well and good. You can go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Glad to say that I am a part of a group which is diversified into various solutions. That is, all sorts of automation, CAD, CAM, engineering, plantation, enviro, and industrial vending, or rather to say the inventory. And we are discussing about one uh, revolutions, but those revolutions were not at all discussed like this. But this industry 4.0 alone has been given this much of importance. Okay, we'll go into this thing. First of all, I'll just give a brief of my group, Sasa Group, which comprises a group of companies: Simtech for CAD solution, Simtech ESO for engineering solutions, Autogrid Base for inventory solutions, Tree Ambulance for plantations, Sasa Enviro for environment, and Sasa Engineering for manufacturing, and Navas for CAM solution and your product solutions. Now, let us start. Let us straight away go to the subject: evolution of Industry 4.0. How these industry revolutions have occurred. Number one, Industry 1.0. It was at the end of the 18th century when whatever our ancestors were doing, performing manually, that work was started mechanized. That mechanical engineering started implemented in that time, and at that time we had the energy through water source and our stream source. So whatever work was just been done manually has been done mechanically. That was the first solution. It was at the end of the 18th century. So definitely when in the now come to the second, it is the end of the 19th century. At that time we invented the electrical energy or the electrical engineering, which gave way to the mass production. When we have started doing the mechanization of the human work, that mechanization of work has been converted or rather to taken to the next level, escalated to the next level for mass production. So mechanical engineering joined hands with electrical engineering. Now, the Industry 3.0, that was a huge jump at the end of the quarter four of the 19th century, sorry, 20th century. Computers were introduced. Computers were introduced along with then information technology, and which gave way to automation and through PLC devices and SCADA devices. Hope you guys know about PLC and SCADA, so I need not go in Bharat and robots. So 3.0 was a massive jump from mechanical and electronics to electronics. That is, all the three combined to have a subject called mechatronics. So mechatronics took over, and at that time itself, robots were there. So now, before going to the Industry 4.0, I'll say one thing. There is a misnomer in the industry saying that robotics, automation, and in IoT, these three are the new chapters evolved in Industry 4.0. Definitely not. It is already there in Industry 3.0. So what is there? What is there in the Industry 4.0? Let us see now. So it was the introduction of in the Internet of Things, cyber physical system with the help of augmented reality and real-time intelligence. So that is the fourth era was the fourth era of industrial revolution was the era of the cyber physical system, which is capable of autonomously exchange the data or information, and which will trigger actions and control each other independently. Okay. So what is the difference between 3 and 4? Now let me ask a simple question. What is the difference between 3 and 4? For example, let us take a CNC machine. In Industry 3.0, in the CNC machine, all your toolings were automated. Changes of tools were automated. Everything was automated and was done automatically, and the operator was just seeing the changing of the speed of the spindle and everything. But in Industry 4.0, the entire manufacturing operations, manufacturing process was controlled by a lot of sensors which are fixed in the system, in the operating system, to control even the spindle seat. That is, the product, the process, the manufacturing system, everything acted as the information carrier. What's next? What's next? What's next? This was the difference between 3 and 4. 3 had the all the systems available. 4 started absorbing the data from the system to carry out the next operation autonomously. It automatically exchanges the data to the next level. So I can say one thing in this, that data data is available everywhere. For example, at the end of the 20th century, data was available everywhere. Any college, every college, they have a lot of data. But was it available to everybody? No. So the data was made available to everyone. Once the data is available everywhere, and it has to be accessed by everyone. That is, everybody should be able to access the data. Today, if you are going to log into the system, you are accessing the data, your data available in the server, in anybody's server, when you are given the access. So if data is accessible. When data is accessible, you are taking your own decision. That is, data is made available to everybody, made accessible to everybody, and the data is made to have an action orientation on that. That is, the data has been converted into smart data. The same way, any process will be converted to smart process. Business to be converted to smart business. Manufacturing to be converted to smart manufacturing. So that is what we are going to discuss in this subject, in this session. Now, a small briefing on the cyber physical system. What is a cyber physical system? It has to link virtual and physical. Sir, what is this one which you are talking about? Physical and virtual, and computing, communicating, and controlling. Shall I give a small example? Hope you people have done yoga and meditation. People are doing lot of people are doing yoga and meditation, and people are going through a lot of sessions for that. Why? So by doing meditation, the physical work done by your body, whatever you are doing with your physical body, the data is the yoga and meditation takes the data from your physical system. It is computing the data and controls the data and communicate to the virtual data. What is the virtual data? Your mind. Your mind is a virtual body, and your body, your physical, this thing is your physical body. Just like that, any system which takes data from the physical and conveys to the virtual body, it is physical. So that is the major development in Industry 4.0. That is, it autonomously exchange information without the human interference. It autonomously exchange information from one system to the other system for triggering actions. That is the main thing of Industry 4.0 with the implementation of cyber physical system. Now, what do we expect from Industry 4.0? Let us see. So what I am expecting from the Industry 4.0? So I will be talking about, so machines are working, already it's working, CNC machines are working. So data available from machines, that is from the CNC machine, has to be transferred to the server through IoT, that is Internet of Things, in real time for the people to analyze the data and take immediate action on that. That is integration of data and analysis. That this is going to be the major development and major requirement of Industry 4.0. Unless otherwise, the data is available in real time and is transferred without any human interference to, and it is accessible everywhere through cloud. From anywhere and everywhere you can access the data. Yes, then it comes under Industry 4.0. Now let us just go through the Industry 4.0, some of the Industry 4.0 components discussed and talked about now. Mobile technologies, machine to machine, additive manufacturing, advanced robotics, big data analytics, Internet of Things, and IIoT, RFID technologies, cognitive computing, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. So these are the major 10 components of Industry 4.0, which are controlling the entire operating system. Now, let us go through the first of all, machine to machine. What do you mean by machine to machine? That's a direct communication between devices through any communication channel, let it be wired or wireless. That's why what we said, through a cyber physical system, autonomously exchange information without any human interference. Okay? So the data should be transferred machine to machine without any interference. Now, cloud computing. Now, why cloud computing? Because if I'm right, during 1990s, the data was stored. For example, in ISRO, or in NASA, wherever you go, they were having supercomputer for storing all the data. Even that supercomputer will have one big room of around 2,400 square feet. That big room will be entirely with computers and all. Now, the entire data is available in cloud. For example, your entire data is available in Google. Google, where they housing the server, or in Internet Explorer, where they are having the server this thing, or rather to say our own ISRO data. Everything cloud, where you cannot physically handle the data in a remote, in a physical server or a small storage. People opted to go for a storage on cloud, that is a virtual storage, and so that they can access the data through internet. So cloud computing gave us this thing. Then Internet of Things. Internet of Things is the initial step of Industry 4.0, and people are actually having a misnomer that IoT is Industry 4.0. Definitely not. IoT is one of the component of Industry 4.0. It is a network of devices or vehicle or home appliances or whatever may be the case. If it's going to be done at home, it's going to be a smart home. If it's going to be done at the industry, it's a smart industry. It is going to be done at business in office, a smart office. That is, they connect each and every device through, it might be through electronics, or might be actuators, or might be sensors, or might be through software. In various computing modes, but they can interconnect each other and interact and exchange data through each other. Now, then comes the cognitive computing. Cognitive computing is the most interesting part of the Industry 4.0. See, what we started doing, first of all, we replaced our manual work with mechanization, and the mechanization was supported by electrical power. Then the entire this thing was transformed into mechatronics with the support of electronics. That is, whatever I was doing, I gave it to robot, but I was controlling the robot. Okay. Now I've given the entire thing to a robot. Now you can see in the TVs for COVID patients, robots are taking the prescriptions, giving the tablets, and they're measuring the temperature and all. Once the temperature is measured, it automatically takes. So it is the computerized system or a robotic system which has to act on its own, just like human brain thinks. Just like if a doctor goes and checks a patient, and okay, the temperature is so much, then he has to be treated this way. So same way, now we have been seeing in the channels that robots are being used for for servicing the COVID patients. One side for safety, other side for your automation. It's happening. So cognitive computing is nothing but whatever a human brain does, it has to be mimicked by a computer or a robotic or an automated system. So that is one part of this thing. And 3D printing. 3D printing is the development of Industry 4.0, where they wanted to, earlier, if we want to have a prototype, want to manufacture, for example, one big component like a crankshaft, which goes into a ship. So then I have to go sit in a mechanical shop and spend a lot of time on that and make my modification. Now it's not like that. My 3D drawings are available. With the drawings, it's fed into the 3D printing machine. It, as per these drawing and the computerized program given in the system, the material which is used is solidifies into the system record into three-dimensional object. So it reduced the time of manufacturing the prototype. That is, it's mainly used for rapid prototyping. Number one. Number two, for high volume, high confidential, and small quantity spare parts. That is, which are used in ISRO, then defense projects, in space projects, and in confidential projects. So, sorry. Then come to robotics. So, we are seeing robotics. Now, what has happened? Robots were there in 3D. Sorry, in Industry 3.0. Now, what is now in Industry 4.0 is advanced robotics. Earlier in 3.0, the robotics are controlled by various devices. Might be a PLC or a human programming and human operator who is controlling the entire robot. Now, each and every robot is having its own sensors. They are using sensors like it might be a touch sensor, it might be ultrasonic sensor, or it might be a light sensor, which allows it to interact with the real world around them. So it interacts with the sensor. Once this operation is completed, I had to go for the next operation. That's what is that. The robotics itself the robot itself takes its own decision and it proceeds further on the next level. Now, come to big data analytics. So, big data analytics is the major development and major requirement of Industry 4.0. Why? So, earlier, I'll just give a small example. Earlier, in each and every factory, any department have a maintenance department. If I'm right, yes, any company will have a maintenance department. Any company, any office, everybody will have a maintenance. So people are having breakdown maintenance. Once something breaks down, they will go and repair it. But then came preventive maintenance with all your manufacturing facilities and all. They came with the preventive. They had their own calendar. They had their own schedule. Replacing of spare parts are so time at the scheduled timing. So by that, do you mean to say, or rather to say, I will say this, I'll put this way. Any equipment will have its own efficiency rate. By preventive maintenance, are we achieving the overall equipment efficiency? I don't think so. Because a bearing which may have worked for 6 months, we are replacing 3 months. Or a bearing which was to work for 3 months, it may break down in 2.5 months. So your real-time data was not available. So to optimize that, we wanted to go for the predictive maintenance. So I have to predict what is happening there. I have to predict. Then, so you have to get the end of life of the product, or end of life and the meantime to failure of the product. So to avoid the failures. So what happens? The Internet of Things, communication, the data are transferred through the sensors from the machine or the equipment, from the operation, from the process. It is being collected or by our data sources in the cloud, and people are taking the data from them. The data might be a vibration data, might be an acoustic data, or an ultrasonic data, or it may be thermal images data. Whatever may be the case, the data is available to the data analyst immediately on real time. So they are going on analyzing what is happening. So what will they say? Oh, why it has happened? It has happened. Why it has happened? When did it happen? Now, why should it happen? It will not happen. Why it should happen? Before it's happening, I am stopping it. So for example, what will happen? A bearing which is as per the recommendation might be 3 months. By getting my data on the real time, it may work for another 3 months. So my overall equipment efficiency increased. The same way we apply to each and every operation. For example, in an inventory system, before the material goes out of stock, you'll replace the material. Or before an item which is getting obsolete, you're getting the data immediately and you're replacing it. So the data is available for analysis through IoT or IIoT for analysis, and it is being transferred to analytics for taking a preventive decisions, or rather say predictive decisions. Okay, then your mobile technology, we are very much aware of the mobile technology because the entire universe has come in our palms. It's in our palm. We are working with the mobile, and even if I am right, people are switching off or on the motor or the electrical system or electronic system at house before they reach the home or before they leave the home. So they are doing it. So mobile technology has come to the next level of communication. It's going to be the heart of communication in the near coming future. And next comes your radio frequency identification, that is simply called as RFID, which uses electromagnetic fields to automatically identify and track the system. So this is being now used for mainly for wherever accountability and traceability is required. Whatever I want to account for, whatever I have to trace for, whatever I have to track for, that if RFID is being used. For now, for example, now we are using FASTag. In all vehicles, we have got FASTag. Each and every vehicle is tracked. So we may be thinking it is used for only for crossing the tolls. No, definitely not. The data has been immediately transferred to the RFID server. So vehicle has crossed the place on so and so time at so and so place at so and so time. You're being tracked. And you're taking a ticket and you're being accounted for how much has been paid for, and you're being traced. Okay. Now, see why Industry 4.0? What is going to be? What is the trend impacting the requirement in the future? Our Industry 4.0. What is impacting? Why everybody is running out of Industry 4.0? Yes, we want to. You will have these are the drivers. Number one is population. The population is increasing like anything. So when population is increasing, the demand of the consumer is increasing. When the demand of the consumer is increasing, definitely for controlling and accountability and traceability and tracking, definitely a system has to be there. That is Industry 4.0. Then comes digitalization. Now, wherever you go, everything is digitalized. Nobody is asked to come in front. For example, even now, we are sitting different places, but we are able to access each other's data. So when digitalization is going on spread over, everybody want to have access digitally. Yes, we want a system. That is Industry 4.0. Then globalization. Earlier, when I started using a mobile, if I am right, it was in 2000. I started I think 2000 or something like that. At that time, a cost of my one call costed around 6 rupees per minute. Now, the entire world is connected. I can make an international call through my mobile straight away. At that time, it's not that easy to make an international call. Now, the internet is connecting the entire universe, the world, through cloud. So, when globalization is there, Industry 4.0 is required. Now, so when you are going for this thing, unique experience for the customers, and then you come to a sustainability where the energy sources and carbon dioxide emission, whatever pollution control, everything you want to control, you have this. And comes here, the latest is going to be the complex logistics with the boom of the e-commerce. See how much has been developed in this thing. You got Flipkart, you got now Reliance has come. Now we are Amazon is every e-commerce developed. There should be then the logistics is getting more and more complicated. Where to deliver, how to deliver, when to deliver. So with that, for that, there should be one system. There should be one system. There should be one system to control the entire logistics. For that, Industry 4.0. Now, what is the target of Industry 4.0? What is the target of Industry 4.0? Main thing is increasing. The main is competitive. The competition is increasing in each and multi-fold everywhere. So when competition is increasing, so definitely each and every source they have to increase the efficiency, the energy, and the resource has to be optimized. For that, what is the source? There we have to introduce something. So it might be through a cognitive computing, or it might be our additive manufacturing, or it might be a robotics. So everything has to be increased. And it's going to be then comes the logistics. You have to take a shorter time to the market. Innovation cycle should be short, and more complex products are coming inside. And mass production. Because today I cannot just manufacture around 10 pieces and keep quiet. One day, the sale of might be a mobile shop, might be around 10,000 numbers. So, to serve the requirement, you have to go for a high productivity. Then these are the processes in Industry 4.0 or any industry: manufacturing operations, warehousing operation, inventory, quality, maintenance, and environment. In all these 6 operations, Industry 4.0 has to be complied. Okay. For example, in manufacturing operations, what are the this thing you got? You got design, you got business management, you got your production management. So all these operations have to be automated, and the data has to be available throughout the factory or the industry, totally interconnected. And warehousing operation for supply chain management, for inventory, sorry, for the production. And quality not after manufacturing. Now it is being simulated for 3D scanner, and during the time of manufacturing process itself, it can be identified the problem of the manufacturing. Then maintenance, as we said about the predictive maintenance, is there, and environmental health and safety. Main this thing is going to be logistics. Okay. Now I am showing a general manufacturing flow chart. It's a flow chart. Consumer, second inquiry, a technical specification, a technical discussion, commercial discussion, technical presentation is over. They are submitting a quote, we are getting a PO. Once the PO is received, contract review is done. Contract review is done for what? Whatever we are given the specification is being complied with the PO or not. Then work order is released to the design department. Design department makes a design, and the design is reviewed. They are making the drawings. From drawing, BOM is prepared. BOM is given to stores and PPC. PPC gives it to production and purchase department for procurement and issue requirement. So material is procured, it comes in, it's stocked and issued to shop floor manufacturers, and whatever excess material is being returned and finished goods are manufactured, it is being given to QC for inspection, and then logistics, packing, invoicing, and supply. This is a general manufacturing flow. So now we are gone here. What are the things you have got? You got a manufacturing operation, your design operation, and a business management operation. Business management operation. Okay. Now there's this thing called smart. Now we are coming to from manufacturing. We are shifting to smart manufacturing. How to? Whatever operation, whatever process, whatever we are doing, it should be smart. Then if it has to be smart, the process should be specific, and the process should be measurable, the process should be attainable, the process should be relevant, and that should be a time-based process. Then only it becomes a smart. Now the same manufacturing flow, it is now being converted into a smart manufacturing. Just go through this. Customer sends an inquiry through a software, might be through a software called work plan, and the work plan absorbs the entire requirement. It transfers to the technical inspection. Everything is done through the software. Then quote is given, PO, contract review, work order, and it has been given design. Design can be done through various software. Might be SolidWorks, might be Radon, might be Visi, might be simulation, might be flow simulation. And design is reviewed, drawings are prepared. It might be in SolidWorks, it might be our Visi. So yeah, each and every area is automated, and the data is being transferred to the software. No manual drawings are issued, no manual instructions are issued, everything going through the software. So that is machine to machine is happening. Then the entire material inventory operation will be done through inventory software. Then production receives the material, production prepares the issue requirement. So each and every place, it is being controlled by a software. That is, everything the data is being transferred with autonomously transferred. That's what I'm trying to say. They are autonomously exchanging data from one operation to the next operation. So now it is entire this thing is smart manufacturing. So customer transfer data through a software. That software observes the requirements of the customer requirement. It's transferred to the technical specification and it will be converted to commercial. It will be transferred to PO and it's given to design entirely. They make the design optimized design through a software, and the software transfer the design to the production department or the PPC department through a simulated program. So everything is automated. Any manufacturing process, I will classify into three. One is technical engineering, another is business and management, and design. So in a technical engineering, you can see here what are these things are covered: an operation process, and who are linked with operation process. Customer is linked, and it's horizontally integrated with the product, and product is linked with the product life cycle, and product life cycle has to be a smart product, and it will be in a smart factory. It's a cyber physical system, convert data transfer through IoT and Internet of everything, and vertically integrated. Interoperability is there, and 6Cs. 6Cs. What are the 6Cs we have been seeing? That is 6 types of communications. That is consideration. There should be consideration in the communication, clarity in the clarity, conciseness, coherence, correctness, and confidence. So this is going to be a part of technical engineering. Now, what comes under business and management? In a business management, one thing you can see here, wherever you go, there is a horizontal integration between customer, product cycle, and quality and assurance. So it goes through what are the operations process, what is the business model is being designed, and for business management, the leaders should be defined, resources should be defined, strategies should be defined, tools and methods for operations to be defined, and the logistic to be used is defined. And then comes design and innovation. First, the entire thing will be designed for human-machine interaction and economics, that is human to work interaction, what are the user interface being used, what are the user experience being used. So in three parts, it has to be there. Each and every manufacturing, every industry has to be done as engineering, business and design. Now, you can see the industry elements of Industry 4.0. The entire Industry 4.0 is influenced by around five various elements. Number one is engineering. That is what we saw. Business and management we are seeing, and design and design. So 83% of the entire design goes to these three only. But one design is already there. That is, human interaction is totally has to be reduced so that your skills and education will be improved. Skills and education is the area where the people who are coming from academics, where in academics you are learning mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, mechatronics, automation, and all these things. But what are the skills to be developed for making a skill set of Industry 4.0? That what you have to be very much aware of it, and very much rather to say you have to look forward to for your career building, because academic gives you the basics. Your skill development gives you the requirement for your career development. Now you can see here. So this is the working life cycle, working life cycle skills. These are the areas where you have to develop. So I'm segregating it to two things. One is discipline skills, other is transferable skills. That is, discipline skills are specific competencies. It can be defined into three things. One is engineering, business, again design. In engineering, what are things you have to develop? You have to develop your skills in data science and big data analysis, and human-machine interface has to be developed, or you can be a digital to physical system transfer. That is 3D printing. You can specialize yourself, or in simulation, in advanced simulation you can develop yourself, or artificial intelligence. Just like you can go for an augmented reality, or you can go for virtual reality development and advanced robotics. So in any of these areas, if you want to plan your career in engineering, these are the 6 areas where you have to develop yourself, develop your skills. Oh no, if you are going to say, no, I want to go in the management side, then it's okay. Come on, we have got the same business competency, where you should be aware of the technology used in your manufacturing process for the business. And one more, next is going to be a change process. Your process which you are being used cannot be the same forever. It should be always developing. You have to go and change your management process and strategy. Change process is the permanent changing habit. Okay, and you have to develop innovative management strategy, and then how to the organogram knowledge. Earlier, organogram knowledge is a hierarchy system. Who has to do what, and what is going to be his responsibilities? What is going to be key responsibility? So you have to develop your skill in that level, and you should be very very clear in the manager's role in the industry. What the manager has to do, and what the supervisor has to do, what the employee has to do. And the last one, production planning process and control. That is the brain of the any industry. It is a nodal point. So the entire production planning process control has to be automated, and it should be self-service, competent to handle the data processing, and it should be a system which will communicate the data, or it should be the cyber physical system, I will say. The production planning and process control department should be the cyber physical system for any industry. It should take all the data from the physical system and it to exchange the data to the virtual system. Then design. Design is going to be what is the impact of the technology, human robot interface, and product and process design and ergonomic solution. That is, we can see here, that is man to machine, machine to robot, sorry, man to machine, man to robot, man to work environment, and man to product, and product to process. So entire this thing has to be there. Now come to your transferable skills. These all whatever we were discussing are regarding technology and technology adapter. It will be now it come to the transferable skills, which I can segregate into again: problem solving skills and soft skills. So in your career, if you want to go for a further design, you should have the knowledge management. Whatever knowledge is available in the environment with you and with your environment and with your team, it has been managed properly. And you should be ready for experimenting, so that you will be solving the problems, and you should be highly creative enough to do that. So these are the skills to be developed and scientific processing. And what is going to be the interpersonal, again soft skills, sorry, interpersonal skills, teamwork. You have to develop your leadership, you have to develop your communication, you have to develop your assertiveness. Unless otherwise these 4 skills are developed, you cannot be a manager. You cannot manage things. You cannot be a team leader. You cannot be a business head. You cannot be a entrepreneur. So comes the personal attitude. These are the personal attitude. So see, there are a lot of self. People will say, don't be selfish. But I will say, you have to be selfish. You have to develop your own self-motivation and everything. So self-motivation, self-confidence should be there, self-management, and you should have your own knowledge, and you should have the attitude to continuous learning, and it has to be your responsibility. So you have to develop these skills. So unless otherwise, you are going to work on some solutions. For example, engineering means either you have to go for you have to develop when you are going to develop the solution, you have to develop, because academy is going to give you that basics of engineering, and your skill development has to give you the level of improvement to take you to the next level into the industry. When you are entering the industry, and when you are looking for a career, you should be very specific and very clear. What are you looking for, and what is required for you? Okay. Now, I'll just give you a small I'll say I'm proud to present this slide. See, from Sasa Group, you have got this much of CAD solution. Got SolidWorks, got embedding, you got inspection, you got composer, it was visualized, it was simulation, it was managed, it was about and product process data management. So entire this thing comes for your CAD and design and manufacturing process. All these things has been covered with it. So you can develop any of your skills in this for making yourself compliant to Industry 4.0. Now, NC simulation. This is for your process management or the manufacturing process management. Now comes Simco. Simco gives you the machine data control. What our machine is working, it gives you the what are happening in the machine, how much time the machine has been working, how much is idle, how much it has manufactured, how much it has given the output. So the entire machine data control is given there. And Visi, which gives you gives you a design, e-drawings for design drawings, and autograph for inventory solutions. All sorts of inventory, stock maintenance, storage maintenance, warehouse maintenance, and automated issue, automated accounting. Everything is done by inventory. And work and see, work plan, work explore. This control, this gives you the what we say the nodal point of manufacturing, that is production planning process and control. That is controlled by work and see, work plan, and work explore. And beyond this, there are a lot more products in the market, which gives you the stimulation to take you to the next level of taking your career to the next level. That is developing your mechatronics with the knowledge of mechatronics or mechanical or electrical or electronics or IT or computer science, whichever subject you have got. That will, the stimulus of taking the career to the next level will be your developing your skills in the various areas. Now I think we are coming to the latest stage. Potential implications of industry. What are the implications of Industry 4.0? See, you can see here. Earlier, production, we were assisting the robots for production. People are operating on the robots for production. Now, robots are assisting you in production. It is they are taking their own decision. They are their own communication from the programming, from the sensors of the operation. Which operation has completed, which operation are not completed. They are going on. Then comes predictive maintenance. From preventive maintenance, we are come now from breakdown. People came to preventive. Now people are come. Now we are going to predictive. And additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing. What we saw is 3D printing, which now, if I am right, I saw a clipping from LinkedIn that a boat has been manufactured in 3D printing. A boat has been manufactured in 3D printing in, if I'm right, within 218 hours. If I'm right, I'm not sure about the time. Sorry. And next comes the machines as a service. So machines which were doing only the mechanical work or the operation of the manufacturing operation only, which are switched on, switched off. Now they are working. They are being transferred into service. That is, machines, products, service, manufacturing process has been transformed into information carriers. Each and every operation, each and every step, they are carrying the information of what to do next. If this is over, what has to do? Then we go for the big data analytics. With big data analytics, we have given a very big drive in quality control. So more and more data are analyzed, and a lot of developments are coming in quality control. Then production line simulation. We've got our simulation programs for what is happening in production line, what is happening, what will happen, and everything predicted. And people are using now 3D scanners in a machining operation so that the real-time data of operation being given to the analyst for further decision. And smart supply network, it is for the inventory management, because it should not be obsolete, it should not be obsolete, it should not be damaged, it should not be theft, it should not be pilferage, and it should not be stock out. So all these things have been avoided. That is right time, or rather to say the right material at the right time at the right cost. That's what we call us in the inventory management. Now, see the way of adoption of Industry 4.0 by industries. Now, all automotive industries, already 36% they have adopted Industry 4.0. So when mechanical engineers or the mechatronics engineers, you are going to come out and looking for career in automotive, you have to be skilled enough with Industry 4.0 adoption. You should have the knowledge of Industry 4.0. At least 3 or 4 components of Industry 4.0. You should be very much aware of it. You should be equipped with that. See, components, electronic components and electric components is there. Metals and mining, they are 29%. Process industry, 29%. Machinery and equipment manufacturing, 26%. So each and every industry, yes, they are going ahead. So be equipped yourself with Industry 4.0 compliant. Go, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just we are coming for it. Now, finally, the challenges of implementation. So we have been talking about the benefits of Industry 4.0. What is Industry 4.0? What are the things we're going to be given Industry 4.0? But there are a lot of challenges in Industry 4.0 for implemented. Number one is the cost. So when the entire industry is going to be upgraded, definitely it's going to be your equipment cost is going to increase. Then when all the data is going to be given in cloud, your risk of cyber attacks is there. And the third, That is that's what I have been talking to you. The market is, what to say, is looking for people who are already available to skill for 4.0 skill set. Because when everybody is going for 4.0, people should be available for that. So now I'm not able to go and recruit a team member with a 4.0 skill set. People are coming out from the college and we have to train them. So ready-made the 4.0 skill set is not available. It's a major challenge of implementation of Industry 4.0. And when the recruiting team is not there, the team member with the is not there, and supplier, same problem. But one thing it can be very, very clear. 4.0 is not about replacing the human. It's not going to replace the entire human force. It is about the collaboration. It has to humans are going to collaborate with the machine and to have maximum production, reduce accidents, and increase their efficiency. So it is for improving the better process performance only. I think I've run through, and I got something more. Okay, I will meet in the next session. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. You can contact me in any of the numbers given here. I'm available for any further discussion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation.
Yes, sir.
And, so you have really explained what are the various components of Industry 4.0 and how it is being used and how they are being used in industry. So have been explained very well manner.
Yes, sir.
I hope this might this for the beginners too. This might have given some very good insights. So
yes,
certainly this will be helping them to get into Industry 4.0 positively.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much for you and your organization for allowing you to give an excellent presentation. And thank you, sir. Let me check the chat box for any questions.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you a little bit explain about the challenges and implementation of Industry 4.0 again?
What's that, sir? I'm not able to get it. Sorry, challenges.
Challenges and implementation of Industry 4.0.
Okay, can I have around 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. You can have, sir.
Right, sir. Because I just wanted to run through.
Okay, sir.
So, challenges in implementation of Industry 4.0. Okay. So, when you are talking about implementation Industry 4.0, we are saying the entire thing has to be automated with, and the entire data has to be communicated in real time. Then, what is going to be the cost of the IT infrastructure? For example, let us take my company. My company, we are having an employees strength of around 120. So entire 120 people have to be provided with IT infrastructure and for entire system for communicating the data, receiving the data, and allowing them to take action on the basis of the data available, data analysis. So just think of, for example, it's going to be then 120 it might be 120 laptops, 120 dongles, 120 systems available for operating systems and decision-making softwares and CAD software, SCAN software. They just think of it. The license for that. So the cost is going to be heavy. Definitely it's going to be heavy. So only people who are very much interested are sure that I'm going to have a return of investment on this. Yes, if I'm going to invest around 1 crore on this, definitely my production is my process, my manufacturing, my factory will become very smart, and this thing will be around by profit is going to be 2 crores or 3 crores, and I'll be retrieving, or rather to say, at least if I'm going to invest 1 crore, I'll be retrieving the money within 1 year. For example, you can see Reliance. The Reliance Industries have been totally complying to Industry 4.0. They got a corporate of 3 corporates in Mumbai, which is around 3 corporate of, let's say, 3 townships in Mumbai, where they housed all the business operations, and they got 2 refineries at Hazira and Jamnagar. One is it, so entire data they are accessing online, because no information comes to you on paper. No human interference is going to be there. Once the POS, when the PO is released, automatically reaches the vendor. When he supplies and he automatically does. So the entire cost, the amount of money they invested, yes, and now you can see the Geo, what they are doing. Think of the cost of money he has invested in infrastructure, and the companies like most of the companies from abroad, they invest for the 40 to 45,000 crores on this thing. So the cost is going to be on the higher side, but at the same time, benefits are also on the high side. But people who can invest, they can reap the harvest. We used to say, no, money makes money. Then comes the risk of the cyber attacks. Just see, now we say all data is in cloud. The entire data is in cloud only. Okay, then the data is not with you now. Whatever data you have got is not with you. It's out of your server. It's not in your server. It's somebody's server. Yeah, always. My jewel box, I've been locked in. I put in a locker in a bank. So if something happens to the bank, I'm going to be affected. Same way, the data, something happens to the cloud server data is there. So what hackers are doing? Hackers are concentrating on those cloud servers where they can take data. And I think recently we had something from Facebook. They said some data has been stolen, full-fledged and stolen from them. See, an organization like Facebook, they cannot control the cyber attack. So cyber attacks are going to be there. So that risk has to be taken. You can go on develop the software, like it might be Norton, might be K7, might be what law and Keel, all these things, all your virus software, everything will be there. But hackers are there. Hackers are developing in the faster mode to hack your data. Then comes, why this thing was mainly the recruiting the team members with the 4.0. That's what I was saying. So today, as of today, what's happening? I was saying about the CNC machine. Earlier, in the CNC machine, the operator was working on the machine and he was seeing that whether the spindle speed is going all right or not, and he is setting it right. At that time, he was an operator. Okay. Now, once Industry 4.0 comes in, he oversees. He is a supervisor. He supervises what the machine does. An operator has become a supervisor. So definitely, so what the existing management, what they are doing is they are developing or they are upgrading, they are training their people in all these sorts of infrastructure required for them to become so that they can be escalated to the next level. So if people are already available in the market, for example, that's why when I was telling you, you are coming with mechatronics. Okay, with mechatronics, if we are going to install a center of excellence in our college or in our place of education, in our academy, comprising of all your manufacturing operation, design operation, vending operation, logistic operation, everything, automated and which is well communicated in between. So we can understand. So in a manufacturing circle, this starts from here, this closes here. This data has to flow through this one. So if you are very clear and if your knowledge with that, if your skill has been developed to that level, when you are coming to that, yes, then by that time you come out with the skill set. The industry for implementers of Industry 4.0 will be really saying that yes, I got people from the market. I got people readily in the market. I can go and pick them up. But today they have to develop the people. I don't know, and what will happen today? Already an operator will be there, and he will be drawing around 10,000 rupees. Then if you're going to say, come on boss, I'm going to train you and take it to the next level of supervisor, then I give me a supervisor salary, sir. Supervisor is drawing 20,000 rupees. That is there. So team members, recruiting of team member and the employee factor is a big challenge for Industry 4.0. Now come to suppliers. I was talking about Reliance. I am a vendor for Reliance. Okay, Reliance is 100% in Industry 4.0 compliant. But what happened to what would be? Am I fully compliant with Industry 4.0? Because he's not going to send me a purchase order through post or something like that. He'll be sending through not in mail. I have to access his website and take the PO from him, and whatever instruction has been given to, I have to take it from there, and I cannot send an invoice to him. I have to attach the invoice. So I have to be fully industry 4.0 compliant. I should learn about it. So unless otherwise the suppliers are educated for the industry 4.0, then only they'll be able to integrate with this thing. For example, Hyundai is there. Hyundai got Tier 1 company, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. So it's not going to be just alone. Hyundai alone is going to be industry 4.0 compliant. The entire down the level team has to be in their employee team, their managing team, their supplier team, their service provider team, and their customer. Everybody has to be industry 4.0 compliant. Then only the system is going to be this. So it's not just like okay, I cannot just give a this thing at industry 4.0 compliant. And things are going to happen in future. It's going to now. If you are aware, people are asking if you are ISO certified, you will get the PO. If you are ISO certified, you will get the PO. If not, you are not eligible for eligible as a vendor. And days are not far. People are going to say, if you are not industry 4.0 compliant, you will not get the order. You are not registered. You cannot register as a vendor. You have to. They'll give the entire. Already we have seen 10 components. It might be now already another 2 components already added. I have not shown here 5G and cobots. So at least out of the 10 components, they will give you the certification. Out of the 12 components, 13 components available in industry 4.0, how much you are complying? Only if you are complying for this much, you will be eligible. So things are going to be changed. So things are going to change like that. And main this thing is going to be what people are in. For example, at that time when computers were introduced in 1996 or something like that, fag end of 20th century, everybody is saying computer is going to come, and none of the workers, we will have a worker, and all computer will do the job, and all the people will lose the job. And they were accusing the government at that time. What happened? Now everybody was working on a computer now. Every human is having a computer with them. Now every mobile is having a thing. So it's not a replacement. Now in industry 4.0, it talks about automation. But that automation has to be simulated. Automation has to be overseen. Automation has to be supervised by a human. He has to collaborate with the system, collaborate with the machine, and he has to talk to the machine. Machine has to talk to him. So both of them have to collaborate. Man and machine have to collaborate. Machine can mimic as a human, but machine cannot replace a human. You can program a machine for mimicking, but you cannot replace a human with a robot. What happened to industry? You have seen this Chitty 2.0. It can act as a man. It can act as a human, but it cannot. It can mimic, or the other to say, but it cannot replace a human. Definitely not. So people need not be afraid about that everything is replaced human. So when you are coming out of academy, we might have jobs because everybody is talking about automation. Everybody is talking about robots. So you study, you develop something on the robotics. You develop a skill on advanced robotics. You develop a skill on additive manufacturing. You develop a skill on Internet of Things. You develop a skill on big data analysis. Develop your skills. Basics are already your faculty people and your faculty and the college. They are spending money for this. They are giving all the facilities for you. You develop your skill on this, and furthermore, your own management skills, your own attitude skills. You develop it. Then what will happen? You start collaborating with the man, with the machine, and what will happen? It will increase the productivity and reduce the accidents, because predictive analysis is going to be there. It will reduce the accidents. So you need not worry about it. And finally, it is for the improvement of the process. Process will be improved. So challenges will be there, and slowly one by one. So just like that, when the academic team which is going to come out is going to be skilled with industry 4.0 skill set. Yes, point number 3 is erased, and point number 2 increase. So each and everybody is going to have their own cloud server. For example, our Autogrip product, we have got our own cloud server, our own server. So we have got a server, but not a physical server. We got a cloud server. Yes, we are safe, and definitely there's encryption and what you use. I think I am not so sure about your firewall system and all this. That encryption, all this you are calling. Yes, we are very much. The firewalls are there at different levels. Whichever way you are coming inside, from my server to cloud to internet to machine to my mobile to my operating machine. Everywhere firewall is there. Everywhere it is analyzed. So definitely the one by one will be there, and that's finally is going to be cost of equipment. When people are very clear that I am going to comply with Industry 4.0 and my production is going to be fantastic. My results, my product, I got a 0.01% of rejection. Yes, your wastage is reduced. Because today, in any manufacturing industry, around 8% of the indirect costs, expenses that just like spent on your hardwares, human welfare, just like gloves, goggles, all these, it's more than money is spent like anything. If it is going to control, straight away going to be profit. So definitely people will be, by spending in Industry 4.0, if they are going to save that, then definitely people will go for Industry 4.0. And come to suppliers, they automatically when they are going to be told, yes, sir, if you are not Industry 4.0 compliant, you are not going to get the PO. Yes, these are the major four of challenges. So it will be overcome very easily in future, slowly. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a nice clarification. And I think so. Okay, sir. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the presentation and for your clarification, sir. So,
how was the session?
Yeah, it was fine, sir. Yes, sir. It went fine, and even it is very easy to understand. And let us take one question also.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Ms. P. Sugani asked a question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, because of automation, some IT companies are removing the workers from the organization. Will that totally replace humans with machine?
Definitely not. In IT companies, people are not removing the employee, or rather to say the employees, because of automation, not because of automation. Because the IT company, they are working for automation. They are developing the interface, they are developing the APIs, they are developing the programs for the automation. Might be that is the reduction of manpower is totally for on some other thing, because their output, the demand is not that demand is coming on the lesser side. That's it. But definitely, I'm as I told you, this cannot be replaced. Human cannot be replaced because of automation. Automation helps you to go one step further. See, I'll ask you a simple question. In railway department, we'll go for railway department. In 1980s, if you have to book a ticket, how many employees were there at that time? Each and every counter there will be one for booking. There will be 4 people are there. Even now, the 4 people are still there. They are working on computers. They are booking the ticket on computers instead of writing it, and they are giving it. So definitely, automation will not remove the manpower. Automation will help the manpower for better efficiency. So you need what we have to do is we have to improve our skill set. That is definitely is there. That's a must. You have to improve your skill set. That's the if you are going to say, sir, I have done a mechanical engineering. I've done computer 4 years, sir. I'm coming out and but I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Definitely not. Today with mechanical engineering, you should have a skill set. What is the skill set you have got? Are you what is the equipped with? What is the specialization? Are you in management specialization, or design specialization, or technology specialization? So you have to specialize yourself. Then only, so see, this is the competitive world. You have to be, people have to be one step ahead of others always. So don't say automation is removed. Automation is selling the people out. It's not that. People who are being sent out are not able to get themselves equipped with automation. That's it. So you be very confident. You can do that. You develop your skill set. Okay.
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Fine. Okay, sir. So thank you for your wonderful session. So yes, I think it was very easy to understand even at layman level. So it has given some good clarification to all, sir. So thank you so much, and we would like to hear from you a lot in summer programs, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll meet in. Thank you,
sir. If you can give me the recording of this program, it will be helpful for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, I will share you, sir.
Yes, sir. Because sure. So that I can change my modulation or something, and whatever I change, I can make. I'll make.
Yes, sir. Fine. Sir.
And I think I rushed through in the last part. So
Yes.
I think I got about it.
I will share you the link, sir. Presentation.
Right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Participant, thank you so much. We will meet in tomorrow's webinar. And those who are from mechanical and civil, so on 17th and 18th, one national conference is being planned, and in the development of and the advancement of mechanical engineering. So those who want to participate, you can submit your papers. So the submitted all the papers will be published in conference proceedings with ISBN number, and also all the articles will be indexed in Google Scholar. So if you want to participate, you can see our website and you can go for submitting your papers. Thank you so much. We will meet in tomorrow's webinar.